want to thank everybody for coming down. We're here at our Unity Clean Water Action Sierra Club endorsement announcements, and to have our people that we endorsed have a chance to say something about why the environment is important in their campaigns and is going to be important for the future of Rhode Island. We are honored to be joined by members of our federal delegation. I want to acknowledge Congressman Cicilline, and and Congressman Langevin is on his way, and we have notes from other representatives, and was the head of the Environment Committee, hopefully will be again, Art Handy, right behind me, and Gina Raimondo, candidate for governor, and Democratic candidate for governor, and Republican candidate for lieutenant governor, Catherine Taylor. Just to be clear, Sierra Club endorsed in that race, but Clean Water Action has not endorsed in that particular race. What's that? But they're happy to stand with, and they really are. Just a quick minute about the process. We had surveys that went out to every candidate that were very specific. I think all the candidates will agree. And we had interviews to follow up. And for the state reps, the Environmental Council of Rhode Island did a very complete report card. So it is with a lot of effort and due diligence that we make these announcements. We feel, like I'm sure everybody here feels, that the environment is going to be critical for the future of the United States, yeah, and for Rhode Island, and for the world. And we're proud to have legislative leaders and executive office leaders and federal leaders here today that are going to tell you why that is something important to them and why this is what we're going to talk about on this campaign trail. So without any further ado, I would like to bring up Meg Kerr from Clean Water Action, who worked side by side on these endorsements. We did them both completely separately, but came to the same conclusions. And Meg, please come up and we'll introduce Gina Raimondo.
Thanks very much. I'm new to clean water, and the endorsements were done by Jamie Rhodes before he left and by myself working together with Sierra Club. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Gina Raimondo, who we have both endorsed. Gina came to the April Environment Council of Rhode Island's debate on climate change. And it was clear at that event that she understood that the issues that we face in the environment are not just environmental issues, these are economic issues that face the state. And I just wanted to read one sentence from her survey that she filled out for us. She committed to working across state agencies and municipalities to assess vulnerabilities that climate change and severe storms like Hurricane Sandy could bring to Rhode Island. By collaborating with and gathering feedback from municipalities, outside organizations, and academic institutions, we will develop a coordinated plan completed by the Executive Climate Change Coordinating Council and its advisory board. She understands the need to work together through all sectors of our great state here in Rhode Island to deal with the issues that we have ahead with climate change. And I'm looking forward to her remarks here today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a gorgeous day, isn't it? Yes. It's a perfect day for this. So it's an honor for me to be here. I'm so grateful for both endorsements and also to stand with my colleagues in government. It is wonderful, and here we are only 19 days away from the election, so great timing on the endorsement, which I greatly appreciate. David said, the congressman says, but who's counting? So first of all, we have to say yes on 6 and yes on 7. Got to get that done. I'm a strong supporter of both. not only the right thing to do for our environment, but the right thing to do for our economy. As I've said many times, we need to invest in Rhode Island. We need to invest strategic investments in growth, which is the right thing to do for the environment and the right thing to do for the economy. You know, as Meg just said, I will be a governor that leads on issues of the environment. And much of that means just building on the work that's already been started to make sure that it is coordinated and collaborative, and that as we approach climate change and the environment, we do it not in a way that compartmentalizes that issue, but where those issues are top of mind across everything that we do. And that is, I believe, the role of the governor. As I've said so many times, as governor, my main focus will be putting Rhode Islanders back to work. But the good news is, the silver lining of climate change is that we can use it to also create jobs, if there is a silver lining. And that you don't, in order to be pro-jobs, you can also be pro-environment. What's good for the economy can be good for the environment if you do it right. And in particular, there's an opportunity to create green jobs in green technology. You know, I've said so many, look at that building right there. See all those air conditioning units? It would be a lovely thing to put electricians and carpenters to work retrofitting that building, right? Wouldn't that send a nice signal? Especially for the people who work there. And that's just one example. You know, we have, you know, everyone knows I've been going to the same spot on Sand Hill Cove Beach for a long time, more than 40 years. And my heart breaks every time I see we have beach closures. It doesn't have to be that way. We know how to invest, to make investments in stormwater treatment so that that can be avoided. That's good for the economy, brings tourists here, and it's good for the environment. Agriculture, fantastic opportunity. Investing in our farms puts people to work and good for the environment. So I won't continue to go on. I am an admirer of your work and all you've been fighting for years. I will be a champion for these causes and look forward to working with you to move forward on the work that you've started. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Pete Galvin. I'm the Conservation Chair for the Sierra Club in Rhode Island, and it's my privilege today to introduce our endorsed candidate for the Lieutenant Governorship. As someone who used to work for a congressional office, I'm particularly proud to introduce someone with the same background. She worked extensively with former John Chafee, and represents, I think, the traditional Republican support for conservation. We don't, in Sierra, we're nonpartisan. The environment is nonpartisan, and I'm delighted today to introduce her to you. Ms. Taylor? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I couldn't be more grateful for the endorsement of the Sierra Club and for the Friendship of Clean Water Action. This endorsement has enormous personal significance for me. Having begun my career for one of the greats in the environmental movement in our time, John Chafee, I worked for him for the last 13 years of his life. In the last 5 years, I served him as chairman of the U.S. Senate Environment Committee. That was some of the greatest years of my life, and I'm just proud that the spirit of John Chafee is alive with us today. And the spirit of John Chafee will be alive in my tenure as your next Lieutenant Governor. There are 3 councils that the Lieutenant Governor has responsibility for: long-term care coordinating, small business advocacy, and emergency management advisory. And there are opportunities in all of that work to embed environmental stewardship, to protect our vulnerable populations from the effects of climate change and extreme weather, to make sure our businesses are resilient in the effects in the case of extreme weather and climate change, and to make sure that we look for opportunities both to green our buildings and our infrastructure and to provide incentives for the kind of innovation that we need. I look at that building over there and the air conditioners. I don't want to just retrofit it. I want to invent a new way of heating and cooling it that has zero footprint on the environment. We can do that in Rhode Island. Environmental stewardship is necessary because our beautiful ocean state is the essence of who we are. And protecting it, and treasuring it, and loving it will make us grow economically. The two are together. And health is inextricably linked with that too. That's the kind of lieutenant governor I will be, and I cannot be more grateful for this endorsement. It is a thrill. Thank you.